She's been nominated for 2 Oscars, nominated for 3 Emmys. Here is a real live star who's been in literally 40 movies, looks fantastic, and guess who she starred with in the movies? How do you know this? Here's a scene from Viva Las Vegas. Show you. Just take just a little quick peek here.
Good heaven, won't everybody in the turn your head to the left. Come on, everybody, and turn your head to the right. Come on, everybody, take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I love my baby, I love my baby, I love my baby. Hey, 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 and my baby loves me. 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 My baby loves me.
On and on she goes. Streetcar Named Desire, Carnal Knowledge, and what's not to love about a beautiful woman who knocks him out on stage after entering on a motorcycle. Ladies and gentlemen, Ann-Margret.
I'll always remember that I had a swing in time.
Well, here you are. What a hit. Wow. And you jumped out of a cake when you were like, look at this, before she was 20 years old. Can you imagine? It's amazing you're not an egomaniac. And you aren't.
Oh.
Married well? 20 years?
Well, we've been married 24 years on paper, but we lived together for 3 years, so it's 27 years.
Oh, I'm so disappointed to hear that. And you, somehow, if there were ever a person, I know you people ask you about this a lot, but just bear up here. First of all, you really are not, you're a tough interview, I gotta tell you. You know, you don't exactly enter screaming.
I know.
And you don't look like the kind of person that necessarily wants a lot of voyeurism, and I guess I understand that. But now, thank goodness, you're enjoying the highlight of your career with an appearance on the Donahue Show, and we're going to learn more about
But do you remember 25 years ago?
That's right. Yes, it's been a long time.
That's right.
Haven't changed at all.
You.
My hair, of course,
You
has not
haven't
changed at all. In 25 years, it's true. It's been a while since Ann-Margret has been with us. You are a nervous Nellie. You fainted before you went to see Mike Nichols to talk to you about the possibility of starring in Carnal Knowledge. Is that a true story?
I don't recall fainting, but I was extremely nervous. Yeah, I was extremely nervous, and I read for him. And I remember one of the most wonderful things that happened was the next day, he said he wanted to test me. And I tested, and it took all day, and we did several different scenes. And the next day, I was all alone in the hotel room. Roger and Alan Carr had gone out for some business meetings, and I was waiting to hear if I got in the part. And there was a knock at the door, and all of a sudden this bellboy came with a beautiful bottle of champagne and all these flowers with a note that said, "Jules loves you, I love you, you have a job, Mike Nichols." And I had nobody to tell it to. I was screaming and yelling and carrying on. And we had that framed in our den. And then the phone rang, and I picked it up, and it was Billy freaking. I said, Billy, guess what happened? And he started laughing. He said, congratulations and everything. I was so excited. And they didn't come home for about a couple of hours, and I was like, I just was trying to figure out what to do with myself.
Well, I want to share with this audience a scene from Carnal Knowledge you're going to love. Jack Nicholson looks like he just made his first communion in this film. What year is this?
Probably 71.
71. So we're 20 years. We're 20 years. He's reading her palm. She's reading his palm, and then he chooses to read her palm. I'll give you $100 if he's looking at her palm. Carnal Knowledge, Jack Nicholson and Ann-Margret. She was nominated for an Oscar. Watch this.
You have a long lifeline.
I like that. The way you run your nail across my,
Difficult to get along with.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Bobby.
You always know your own mind.
Right this minute, anyway.
You won't stop going after what you want until you get it.
Let me see your hand.
Well,
You are built.
see that in my hand?
Even your hand is built.
I think you're a dirty old man.
I'm a dirty young man.
Vanity Fair tells us AM, as you are familiarly referred to, cap letters, AM, almost didn't make it, fainting an hour before cocktails were to begin. But we won't put the Judiciary Committee staff on whether or not that's true. But, you know, you avoided, I think, you avoided being exploited, and you were a teenager in Hollywood. Is that so? You didn't get, in any really dramatic way, roughed up, or am I not reading the correct unauthorized biography?
Basically, people were very, very kind. I lived with my parents until I was 23 years old. I come from a very strong family background. I'm the only child, and I got a lot of love from my parents, including a lot of discipline. So there is that strong family backbone.
Boy, I bet you there's a lot of guys out there must have made fools out of themselves, though, when they met you at night. Here, you also told Vanity Fair, I like to be told where to go, what to do. And it was Roger who told AM to take off her bra for the first time on screen. Did I miss this? In Stanley Kramer's RPM, is that so?
That's true.
Well, how disappointed will be our lovely studio audience here that we don't have a film clip from that.
Oh, I'm so glad you don't.
You are a proud graduate of New Trier High School.
Yes, sir.
You and Bruce Dern and Rock Hudson and Charlton Heston and Stephanie O'Connell. I'm going to embarrass her. We have a New Trier High graduate in our audience. New Trier folks are from everywhere. You grew up in Winnetka, having been born in Sweden.
Yes.
See how much I know about you?
Yes.
Your name is Olson with 2 S's.
Yes. I can't believe it.
And your mother is coming to see you at Radio City Music
You
Hall.
know everything.
That's the end of our show, and thank you all very much. Are you there, caller? I'm glad you waited. Hi.
Hi. And you have such a beautiful voice, and I know I first fell in love with you as a little girl.
Thank you very much. Oh, you mean, I'm sorry.
Phil, you've got a beautiful voice,
Thank
too.
you, I feel better.
But, Ann, I first fell in love with you as a little girl when you sang on the Flintstones.
Ann-Margret.
That's right. Did you really remember that?
There you are, Ann-Margret.
I was wondering if you could find it in your heart to sing that lullaby for my baby and myself so that a whole new generation can come to love you, too.
Oh, are you sweet? Thank you.
I thank you very much.
That's
Hi,
so
Ann-Margret's
kind.
on the line. Hello.
Hi. I'd like to say that I followed you for many years, and I loved you in Tommy. But my question is, how do you feel about when they made a couple of Elvis movies, that they always bring you into it saying that you were romantically involved with him, trying to make it sound like you interfered with his relationship with Priscilla? Did that bother you, that you were exploited in that way? That they always tried to blame you for his being what you call, how can I say it?
You know, after the Thomas hearings, I'm not sure it matters how you put it.
That he was philandering with you.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
That they were always trying to bring you into it, that you were chasing him, trying to get him away from Priscilla. How do you handle that?
Elvis. Did they
That they're always trying to pull you into the middle of what happened between them.
Oh no! We did the movie together, and we got along great. He was just terrific, and we saw each other for quite a long time, and then we remained friends for 14 years, and he was great to my parents and my friends, and he was great to Roger. I always would know his flowers when they came because they were in the shape of a huge guitar. They were always there. I would step into the room when I was, well, you remember seeing them? And they would always be there. I have very, very fond memories of him. So does my parents, and my friends, and Roger. And he had a great, great sense of humor. He loved to tease me.
Echoes 1959 is your high school yearbook. I happen to know it's true, and I don't mean to, if I seem preoccupied with Winnetka, Illinois, it's because I lived there for 10 years myself.
That's right.
And guess who's here? Here is Ann, and it is hyphenated in her yearbook, Ann-Margret Olson. I think we might have a blow-up here, do we not? There you are.
That was what?
Just another girl in the class.
Was that my son? No, that was...
And now I am pleased to present to you your Emmy-nominated performance for Streetcar. Here's Blanche Dubois seducing the delivery boy in Streetcar.
Young man. Has anyone ever told you you look like a young prince out of the Arabian Nights?
No, ma'am.
Well, you do. Come here. Come on over here like I told you. I want to kiss you just once. Softly and sweetly on your mouth.
Thank you. I'm so glad you called. Hi, Ann-Margret's on the line. Are you there? Yeah.
Hi, Miss Margaret. I'd like to say, first of all, you can keep Madonna and the rest of them. You're an icon. You are an incredible sex symbol.
I don't know where to look. Where should I look? Where's the phone call coming from?
Second of all, I'm curious. How does somebody as beautiful and as sexy as you are manage to keep your husband feeling like loved and secured? That must be something.
You know, walking through the bedroom door will do it here. You still have a very good marriage, may I say, without appearing to patronize Roger. Having just seen him in the hallway, he looks wonderful, no jokes about it, and that is no small thing to say about a man who has been through his own drama. I can't even pronounce what he had. But
Myasthenia gravis. It's a neuromuscular.
Myasthenia gravis.
Yes.
And it is, yes, it is
Neuromuscular.
neuromuscular, and it's in remission.
About 2
And he looks
years.
fine.
You sure?
And he got smart with me, and I had to punch him in the mouth. You have a very good marriage, as a matter of fact, huh? One of the points made in the Vanity Fair, guys don't go out much. We don't see you at Farmers Market.
No.
And come on, Ann-Margret, get out there. Let's get some
Some
tourists.
scandal?
Well, the tourists want to take your picture. You are.
We are such recluses, we really are. We have people over to the house. We have a projection room where we show movies, and downstairs is a video room where we have people over, like for the Super Bowl, or for the Raiders games, and for the basketball games, and Lakers,
Yeah.
And then we have a swimming pool, pool parties, and tennis, and then we just bought a home in Aspen.
No.
And we just like to have
just a lot of nice people over.
Yeah, and I've known we've had the same friends. Well, Roger and I have known each other, well, we've been together 27 years, and we've had the same friends.
I'm glad you called.
Hi, I'm calling.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on. Yeah, go ahead. Ask. You had a question.
Yes, I was wondering, Ann, you look terrific. I was wondering, what was it like working with Jack Nicholson in Carnal Knowledge, being that he's such a wild man and all?
Do you know what? He was just great to me.
Boy, this is the most boring interview I've ever had. I mean, we don't have anybody, nobody comes on to you. Not even Jack? Smile if there's a little teensy-teensy lie in there. Not teasing, I believe. Jack does have his reputation. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever met Jack Nicholson, but, we hear that he's known to.
He was wonderful to me.
You have to have, like, a pre-movie understanding here before you work with him? It's no big...
See, you don't really know me very well.
I do know you. I am not at all suggesting that you went to bed with Jack Nicholson. Here, please. No, I didn't say that at all. I'm... The area we're in, if it may it please the court, is your suggestion that, that Jack was an altar boy throughout this.
Wait a minute.
He was polite throughout the whole
He
thing.
was wonderful. I just wanted to tell you that he was so generous in his acting. He was so giving. At one point, I remember doing one of those many fight scenes in the bedroom. We never seemed to get out of the bedroom in that movie. He had done his close-ups and medium shots and long shots in the morning. Then after lunch, we did all my shots, and finally we got to my very, very close-up shots. And at the end of it, I mean, he was doing everything to get some emotion, the very best emotion possible out of me. He ended up jumping on top of the bed and screaming and yelling and doing everything. And he went home with laryngitis. He's very generous and giving.
Here is the scene about which you speak. Ann-Margret colliding with Jack Nicholson in the bedroom in Carnal Knowledge, directed by Mike Nichols.
Spend more time in bed than any other human being past the age of 6 months than I ever heard of.
The reason I sleep all day is because I can't stand my life.
What life?
Sleeping all day.
That sort of thing, I fall in love with you all over again.
Marry me, tell it to please hurt.
You're trying to kill me.
Marriage is death.
Why now?
Because 2 years ago, I slept 8 hours. A year ago, it was 12. It's up to 15 now. Pretty soon, it's going to be 24.
What are you trying to do, scare me?
I need a life. Get a job! I don't want a job. I want you.
You're proud of that. You're proud of it. You're proud of that. We're in New York City with Ann-Margret, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Boyfriend and I both think you are absolutely beautiful. I was just curious how you met Roger, and was it love at first sight, and will we be able to meet him later?
I have to tell you, he's very camera shy. Because I know that they asked him if he would come on the show, and he said no.
Yes.
He was an actor, and he never, ever enjoyed being an actor. That's where that thing came from in that article. He never liked when people told him what to do, what to say, what to wear, and all that stuff. He likes to tell people what to do, what to say, what to wear. And also, I wanted to also tell you that I knew on the third date that we were going to be married and for a long, long time.
Really?
Because I knew, I knew that he had the qualities that I wanted and needed. He's very protective. He's very much a father figure, and he's very kind, and he's real funny. We laugh. After 27 years, we're still laughing.
Hang on, I'll be right back. You know, you really do look like you're not going to necessarily lead the charge into any particular political battle. You are obviously a proud woman who's taken care of yourself and all these. But you do want a father figure. Do I understand this? You enjoy that Roger makes a lot of your decisions, so?
But it's by committee. I mean, I certainly have a lot to say. Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So don't let the...
But it wasn't always like that. No, it was about 1974 I realized I was going through a bad period. And I started going to this terrific doctor. And when she told me that I had a choice, it was wonderful. And I said to Roger one time, he wanted me to do something, you know, very innocently, you know, he wanted some business thing. And I said, no, I really don't want to do it. And he just was kind of shocked. But he really, really liked it. It took him a while to get used to it, but he really liked it. And he always says to me, you know, God forbid anything should happen to me, he says, I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet.
Well, let's just take a moment here to talk about this. Do you have any idea how many women out there could use this doctor?
She's incredible.
Well,
she's just incredible.
I don't mean to condemn an entire, to make this necessarily gender specific. There are lots of guys, too, that have a little trouble making their own. But it's certainly we've read about abuse and so on, which I know is not a feature of your marriage. But may we have just a little more as to what brought you to the place where you were concerned or at least anxious or depressed or whatever it was enough to ask a professional person about this?
Well, it was something very, very, very personal and involving, you know, family. And it just was driving me crazy. And I didn't want to before I did something self-destructive, luckily enough, this friend of mine that I was talking to said, I have this person that I want you to meet. I really think that you should talk to her. So that was in 74, and I might see her maybe like once a year or something. But it's always, if I get to a point where I feel like I'm like this and I can't get out, and before I will do anything self-destructive, I will pick up the phone and call this person.
Right. But we are led to believe by your answer, and we don't want any of these details. Believe it or not, this is not voyeur vision here. Here's the thing. Let me tell you what I think. Roger was making all the decisions. And you went to a doctor, and she said, you know, you have a choice too, and you were surprised by this.
Well, there was a time for a couple of years where I really did wish for him to make all the decisions because I didn't want to know anything about the business. It just made me nervous.
And are you that way now?
I don't enjoy it, but when Roger got his illness, then, you know, I just took over. I took the business calls, and that's what you do when you love someone. When somebody has a broken wing, the other person, you know, becomes strong.
Well, I don't mean to get all down memory lane here, except that, you know, a lot of the copy about you suggests that you really kind of are under his spell, and, you know, he makes all the decisions.
No. I'm a very strong, stubborn Taurus Swede. And if I really don't want to do anything, I won't do it. It drives him crazy. No, but he knows after 27 years, like with you and your wife, you know the buttons not to push. You know, we know the buttons. You know what I'm talking about? You know. There's certain buttons you can push to really hurt someone. I would never push those buttons.
Well, enough about me. This audience has a lot. I got a break here. What did you want to say? Yes.
Ann-Margret, I'm so happy you are in New York and that you're performing at Radio City.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Could you tell us how you feel about performing here?
Well, I'm so excited about it. It's taken me a long time. Through the years, people have asked me to do Broadway shows and things, and I've really thought a long time about it. I never just make snap judgments. I thought a long, long time about it, and eventually I would say no, because I never wanted to make that long a commitment of time of being away from my family and friends. And then for 10 years, they've been asking me to do Radio City Music Hall. And of course, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And finally, I didn't want to make a major commitment, so I thought 6 nights. Let's do it.
And you are doing it, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, how do you feel it was making musical old movies like Bye Bye Birdie as compared to today? Movies of today.
Is it different? Well, let's show you a film clip of a movie.
What are you going to do to me
Well,
now?
this is, no, nothing. This is not the movie you might see produced today. Whatever happened? Talk about the last picture show. Here you are in State Fair with, and his shirt is off.
I know what he's
You're gonna Pat Boone.
I know.
Oh, please, darling. Let's count to 10. Oh, 5 at least. Willing and eager as you are for me, hungry and thirsty and near as can be, anxious and reaching and glad to be found.
Well. MTV, you're not.
Can I say something about that? That caused such a furor because no one had kissed Pat before on screen. And I actually...
I was concerned.
I actually had the audacity, because it wasn't in the script. I nibbled on his shoulder, and it caused a furor back in 1961.
Right. Well, you rallied from this terrible scandal.
All I got to say, Em, is that you look marvelous, and you don't even need the makeup, let me tell you. And that yearbook is wrong. It should read 1979. But I want to ask you,
Are you
79.
sweet? Where did you all come from?
I want to ask you, you worked with a lot of legends in your time, but your very first movie, Pocket Full of Miracles, was it with Betty Davis? How did you feel about that, working with Betty Davis?
Oh, she was great. She was so great. I want to tell you a story about what happened with her. And I had a chance to thank her publicly 2 years ago at Lincoln Center when they were honoring her. I was one of the 4 speakers there, and she was sitting up in the balcony. I had a chance to tell this story and thank her. It was my very first film. I didn't know the difference between long shot, medium shot, close shot. I mean, I had never done a movie before. I had done one play in 8th grade. That was it. I was just really, really happy to know my lines. I was real pleased just to know that. So we were doing a scene just with Miss Davis and me, and all of a sudden, we've been doing it a couple of times, and she said, stop. Ann-Margret's hair, and it doesn't look right. Get her hairdresser and makeup man. I didn't know what was going on. And so she came over, And she said, now, Ann-Margret, this is your close-up, and I want you to look your very, very best. Okay? Okay. So they finished what they were doing. She took one final look at me, and she said, all right, we can go on. I will never... She was like that during the entire filming.
Very generous.
Incredible.
Well, Margaret, I'd like to know if this is your Harley Davidson, and if while you're in New York, you'll be riding the streets with it.
Sure.
No. This is not mine, but mine was delivered. I have a 20-year-old Harley 1000 Sportster that is making its stage debut at Radio City Music Hall. Yes. And it's been spruced up, too. It just arrived yesterday by truck, and it's on the stage right now, getting used to the stage.
Ann-Margret live at Radio City Music Hall from October 22nd to the 27th. Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to say that you look absolutely gorgeous, and you just seem very content and happy. And we've been married 2 years, my husband and I, and we just want to know if you had any suggestions or recipe for a successful, happy marriage. You've been through ups and downs and a lot of success, and what's your secret?
Well, you know what? Both of the people have to really want it to work. It can't be just one person bending over backwards to try and make it work. It has to be the two people. And I tell you something, humor, laughing at yourselves can get you through a lot of things. I mean, he's my hero. And we really like each other, we love each other, we respect each other. And we laugh a lot. I keep saying that, we laugh a lot. But both of you have to feel that you want this relationship to work. Okay?
I asked Marlo the other day how she liked this tie, and she laughed. She laughed. She's still laughing.
Hi. She's terrific, by the way.
Oh, you should hear her laugh.
Your wife is
I'd
terrific.
just like to know if you're going to be singing for us.
No.
I'm
sorry. Sorry. I'll be singing. We're in New York City with Ann-Margret, and we'll be back in just a moment.
It's gorgeous. Secondly, I'd like to ask, do you have any children? And if so, how old are they?
Well, I have 3 stepchildren, 34, 33, and about to be 30. And we have 4 grandchildren, Grandpa and Grandpa Smith. We just love it. We're very, very proud of all of them. And we have 4 cats and a dog who thinks that she's a cat, a little white Maltese named Sugar. It's either Sugar, Melba, Boomer, Annika. Who's the other one?
I don't know. I don't know, but he's going to be in therapy.
Birdie, as in bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Tina Turner had mentioned that you helped her get back into show business. Can you tell a little bit about how you helped her back into show business?
Well, let's see. I think the very first time I bought one of their records was like in 1959. And I met her for the first time in 1974. She came with her whole group to see our show at the Tropicana in Las Vegas. And then we would go and see her shows, take all my crew and dancers and singers and everybody. And then she was going through a difficult period, and I was doing a special, and I wanted her to be on the special. Oh, first of all, we did Tommy, the movie Tommy. We became pals in that, and then right after, about a week after, I started doing a television special, and I wanted her to be one of my guests. So we did 2 or 3 songs together.
Are you there,
And I just saw her. She was over at the house, let's say, a month ago, and she looks great. She's living in Europe.
I'm glad you waited. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Ann, I'd like to know how you felt about the dozen roses that Elvis Presley used to send you before every performance, right up until he died.
It was a huge guitar with all sorts of different flowers.
And you felt good about it, huh?
Oh, I felt great.
I'm a smart guy. I figured that out myself.
No, I felt
Are you
great.
there, caller? Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
You know.
Ann-Margret, you gave a very stirring performance as a cancer-ridden mother of several children that you placed, and you were nominated for an Emmy. You were nominated for an Emmy, but lost to Barbara Stanwyck when she was playing in The Thornbirds. Barbara Stanwyck gave you a very stirring tribute when she accepted the award. I wondered how that made you feel, and did you remain friends with her?
Speak of Who Will Love My Children, for which you were nominated for an Emmy, and you do, of course, recall Miss Stanwyck's generous comments about it.
Well, I mean, I knew that she was going to get the award. You know, she gave a great performance, so I wasn't surprised at all. So, you know, she went up there, and she started talking about something, and then all of a sudden she started talking. I thought she was going to talk about a relative or something, and all of a sudden she said my name. I could not believe that in her moment in the sun that she would say something about me. I was just, you know, I was overwhelmed. I looked at Roger and I said, cannot believe this woman. She was a great lady.
Yes, ma'am.
Just want to say congratulations on 30 years in showbiz.
Thank you.
And I heard you made a new movie for Disney, Newsies, and when that's coming out.
Right. I do a little cameo in a Disney movie called Newsies, and it's their first musical since 1965, I believe. And I do a little cameo. I play Medda, the Swedish meadowlark. And I
Swedish meadowlark?
A Swedish meadowlark, yes. And her persona is, she's a dance hall girl, and she owns her own theater, and she goes on with a Swedish accent, and then when she comes off stage, she just talks like you and me.
And we'll be back in just a minute. Well, consistent with my reputation as having enormous persuasive powers, I give you for just a wave, that's what I promise, Roger Smith.
That you talked him into doing that.
Sir. Yes.
He never does that.
We realized that you have had a lot of difficulties in your life.
Nah.
Just curious, what has been like the one element that has given you the strength to overcome and to bounce back and to move forward?
That's nice. That's real nice. I have tremendous faith in a higher power. Tremendous faith. I was raised by two incredible people, okay? I have been with a gentleman that you just met who, when I lost faith in myself for a couple of years, he had enough faith in both of us. You know what I mean? He had enough faith for both of us.
What actresses or actors inspired you?
You know, I have a lot of favorite actors and actresses, not just one. And I've had the opportunity to work with so many legends. I mean, I just feel so blessed.
I just wanted to ask you what it was like to work with Marlon Brando. How was he as an actor and as a person? I think he's fabulous. I love him.
I've never met Mr. Brando.
I think Streetcar was for television. Brando was in the film. But we understand your misunderstanding. Hi. And I'll be glad. Marlon and I are very close, and I'll talk to you about him after the show. Yeah.
Back to Pocket Full of Miracles. I like Peter Falk a lot, and I saw you in the movie, and we're sort of contemporaries. And as my appreciation for talent increased, you know, for talented actors, I'm
delighted to say that your talent improved because you looked so nervous then. Now that I look back at that movie, when you came in as from Spain, the student, her daughter, and to see you now really doing marvelous parts as an actress, I congratulate you. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great audience you have.
I just want to know
I
what.
wish all of you would come on tour with us. I mean, this is, you guys.
I'm just dying to know what it was like the morning you woke up and Oprah Winfrey's head was on your body on the TV guide.
That was very interesting. That was very, very interesting. Because Bob Mackey called us. Roger talked to him on the phone, and he said, "Have you seen the cover of TV Guide?" And we said no. And he said, "Well, I know that dress because I made that dress for Ann-Margret, and I know that's her body because that is part of a John Angstead, actually it was Rockette, right? The calendar. It was a calendar, and I can't remember which month it was, but so it was my body, and they had placed her head on top of it. And so I had never met Oprah, and I called her. I wanted to tell her for sure, that I had nothing to do with it. I didn't know anything about it. And she knew nothing about it either. And we just started laughing about it because it was so silly.
I'm glad you waited. Hi, are you there?
Yes.
What do you think?
And going back again to Pocket Full of Miracles, any memories, experiences, favorite ones, working with the late, great director Frank Capra?
Let me give you just a chance to think about that. Mr. Capra, may he rest, will understand that the clock is ticking and I have an obligation to say. We'll be back in just a moment.
For a transcript of today's program, send $3 check or money order to Donahue Transcripts, 1535 Grand Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
The quarterback's drinking got the whole team in trouble. Parents are mad as hell, but school officials say they're out for the season. Next, Donahue.
Ann-Margret playing Radio City Music Hall, October 22nd to 27th. Shorty, yes, this is the real Shorty from New Trier High School. You went to school?
We did.
You did?
Graduated in '59. We were cheerleaders together.
You were?
That was you. You kept avoiding my look. I was saying, that look like Shorty. You stinker. You look exactly the same.
You haven't changed a bit.
You look exactly the same. Still good looking together.
Sure, go ahead. Hi, Ann.
Yes.
Hi, Ann. I just want to say, when I was a little girl, since then, you've been my idol. You've been a good role model. I think I turned out okay. And I also want to ask you, are you into God?
Yes, she said.
I have great
higher
faith.
power.
I
Sure.
have great faith. Great faith.
Are you there, caller? Hi, I'm glad you waited.
Yes, I am. Over different period times of my life, I've been stopped in airports and Golden Nugget Casino in Las Vegas and been told that I look like Ann-Margret. And after seeing her today, I think that's one of the highest compliments anyone could ever do.
Hi, I just want to tell you that you look great. And I also wanted to tell you that I noticed that you didn't always look up at the monitor when they were showing your movies. Do you not look up there all the time? Do you not like to watch
look at
yourself?
myself, no. I see my movies one time and that's it.
Oh, okay. I liked you in The Tiger's Tail also. I just saw that recently.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Service is provided and promotional fees
May I
paid
ask
by
you
the
to join
following.
me in thanking
Yeah,
you?
rolling out the good times with Yahtzee. Yahtzee players, lovers, and friends. With Yahtzee, the good times never end.
Yahtzee from